Hello and welcome to another Victoria 3 video. This time we're going to be having a look at monuments and such in Victoria 3. Now first off, we have this lovely little Twitter teaser where we can see Angkor Wat in the Cambodian rainforest. And I would argue that this looks a little bit awkward with the trees going like inside the monument. I hope that maybe that is cleaned up a little bit, perhaps. But otherwise, it's looking good. Like, the map does look good, and it's nice to see various monuments and wonders and such on the map. We've always had these in Paradox games. Just having more is always nice, though. But yeah, going to move on to today's Dev Diary. It is, of course, Canals and Monuments, and we also don't have any new art. This is actually the first time that there hasn't been a new art piece at the top of the Dev Diary, which, you know, if you're being, like, conspiratorial or anything, that means that we're soon coming to the end of the Dev Diaries because they're running out of art. Or maybe it's just this art piece kind of suits what we've got going on here. I do actually believe, though, we are coming close to the end of the pre-release Dev Diaries. I think we've got, like, trade that would be, like, the big one to come. But other than that, I don't know exactly what more we have to look forward to for big Dev Diaries. It does seem like the Dev Diaries are kind of being stretched a little thin, like too little butter spread over too much bread. It does kind of feel that way, especially the last two on decentralized nations and colonialism kind of could have been put together. But yeah, it is what it is. Let's have a look at Canals and Monuments. Good evening and welcome to this week's Victoria 3 Development Diary. Today's topic is Canals and Monuments, unique buildings with special inputs, outputs and effects. First off, we have the Vatican City here. It's the seat of the Catholic Church and a great asset to the Papal States in Victoria 3. As Europe developed and industrialized, the power of religious authority in national politics declined steeply, but never lost its relevance. Can you change the course of history and renew the temporal power of the Pope? Potentially, someone could totally do that. That person could be Neon DT. But yeah. So we've got the Vatican City. It's a building in Lazio, so unique buildings are clearly a thing. These monuments are going to be counting as buildings themselves. They have, you know, wages for their employees. They give influence gain. That's pretty dope. More political strength to the devout interest group. I kind of like it. You know, having them as in unique buildings is I think a pretty good idea. Not something that I would have thought of, but you know, that's pretty nice, and also it looks nice on the map. You can sort of see the St. Peter's Basilica, I think it's called. Yeah, it's nice. It looks good. Monuments are unique buildings only available in specific states, each with its own 3D model on the map. They make use of some of the more interesting aspects of the production method system. Just as buildings can output goods, they can also output both national and local modifiers, capacities, and effects on the pops working there. The Vatican City, for instance, outputs the influence capacity, as well as greatly increasing the political strength of the devout interest group. Meanwhile, the White House adds a multiplier to your national bureaucracy output, as well as increasing the amount of political strength pops gain from votes. Not all monuments are present at the start date. Some, like the Eiffel Tower, must be constructed, and monuments are significantly more costly and time-consuming to construct than standard buildings. Monuments are subsidized by government funding, so if you decide that a monument is unaffordable or that you aren't interested in its effects, for instance, if you're a communist Italy and no longer want the church to wield so much power, you can simply defund them. Or at least we intend to have 11 different monuments in total. That is a much smaller number than I was expecting. Does that include the Eiffel Tower, which isn't built at the start date? Or is it 11 will be on the map at the start date, and you can build up to 15 or whatever? I don't know. It does seem small. It does seem smaller than I would perhaps have hoped for. Because if you think about it, like, we've got, you know, Pyramids of Giza will probably be on there. I know it's an ancient monument, but increasing tourism maybe something along those lines. I don't know. The various canals, as we can see here, we've got the Panama Canal. That's clearly a monument. The Kiel Canal, the Suez Canal. That's 3 already. White House is there. Probably get either the Houses of Parliament or Big Ben or Buckingham Palace, perhaps, for Britain. Eiffel Tower, we've had confirmation it's in. We know Angkor Wat is going to be in because of this. So ancient monuments are totally going to be a thing because we've got Angkor Wat. It would be very, very easy to hit 11, and it just seems a little small, a little bit small. The Kremlin would probably be another one. In Constantinople, or I guess the game is calling it Istanbul, the big church, well, turn it into a mosque, museum, whatever. I can't remember what it's called. Not Basilica. I don't know. You know what I mean, right? You can very, very easily get to 11. I don't know, it just feels a little small. The Panama Canal links the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Finally completed in 1914, after decades of planning and construction, ships no longer had to take the long and treacherous route around South America to travel between the east and west. Yes, we can see the trees and houses in the canal, we'll fix it. Okay, lovely. So hopefully that is also the case for Angkor Wat, like what I mentioned earlier. It would be nice to see the road actually go to the edge as well, instead of being, cut off. But that's something else that can be fixed. Like monuments, canals are unique buildings with a special set of inputs and outputs, but the true allure of constructing a canal is it allows you to create new connections between sea nodes, allowing ships to travel through the isthmuses of Panama and Suez, so not Kiel, maybe. This significantly reduces the convoy costs for trading and supplying armies across vast ocean distances, as well as your vulnerability to unscrupulous rivals trying to disrupt your supply lines. And we use the journal entry system to track the progress of your canal survey. Behind the scenes, a variable is increased every month until the goal is reached, which triggers the completion event. The journal entry also acts as a reminder that you are spending a lot of bureaucracy on this project, and it will be eventually be made available again once the survey is complete. Okay, that's cool. Using the journal entry system is a good idea for sure. That journal system looks really powerful. Looking forward to getting my hands on it. Constructing a canal is far from trivial. Before any work can begin, an extensive survey of the region needs to be conducted, costing a hefty chunk of bureaucracy for the surveyor for about 3 years. Either the owner of the state or a great power with an interest in the region can conduct a survey. Any number of countries can potentially conduct their own surveys and compete to build the canal themselves. So they've made the conscious decision to avoid starting wars or diplomatic plays through scripted content wherever possible, instead offering incentives for the player to start their own plays and encouraging the AI to pursue journal entry goals. In this case, the player has the option to either gain a claim on Sinai or to improve relations with the owner country, helping you along your chosen path, but not locking you into a particular course of action. It's pure conquest is clearly the option you want to go for naturally. But yeah, no, dope. Once you've completed your survey, the path diverges depending on whether you own the appropriate land. If you already own either a treaty port or the whole state region, you can simply begin constructing the canal. But if you'll need to find a way to acquire it, either through monetary or coercive means, a decision becomes available allowing you to purchase a treaty port in the appropriate state region in exchange for a series of large weekly payments. Assuming you can convince the local rulers to part with the port, you might however decide that you'd rather keep your money and start a diplomatic play for a treaty port or the entire state region. The former will cost you a lot less infamy, which might lead either to a peaceful concession to you, to your demands, or to war. Okay. So, can I purchase this land? No. Well, then we're going to go to war for it, either for a small chunk of the state or for the entire state, depending on how much infamy you want to send. Yeah, no, that seems very reasonable. building the canals is obviously going to be a pretty huge undertaking. It seems like that is being very much taken into consideration. Having to do surveys before you start building, cool. If there are events relating to it as you're going through this journal system, then even better. Nothing to complain about here, for sure. Hopefully there are more monuments coming. Maybe the canals don't actually count as monuments, perhaps. In that case, you know, maybe you can up the amount of monuments we can expect. I don't know. But I am hopeful. I'm very hopeful. I like this system quite a lot. But yeah, if Egypt says no to your demands, then you're gonna start a war and be disappointed. Still not over that one. But yeah, no, it looks good. And I'm excited to see how this goes. But yeah, it's a short dev diary. It's a short dev diary video. There's not a whole lot else to say about it. Monuments. How about in the comments section, you tell me what monuments you think should be in the game. What do you want to see? You know, we've got the Eiffel Tower, we've got the White House, we've got Angkor Wat. What other monuments are there going to be? Let me know in the comment section below what you think, and I will see you next time for another Victoria 3 Dev Diary video. Bye-bye.